Well, you were able to enjoy some time not going to tribal, and we see Siga as this sort of vibe tribe. Was that accurate?
I mean, it was definitely a little bit of more of a simmer, right? You're on Survivor, you're never totally at ease. I mean, unless you're Ben apparently, and then you're just vibing the whole time. But at least for Siga, we always have this like undertow of what's gonna happen, like what's gonna move, what's gonna shake, because there was never open strategy talk. When you look at a
Hmm.
tribe like Nami, who's like chaotic and everyone's running around and doing stuff, like that gives a little bit more growth to see what you're gonna do because you're kind of always doing it. But in
Hmm.
Siga, like we're vibing, but everyone is kind of thinking in the back, which is a very awkward, intense place to be.
Mm. So the relationship dynamic we see with you and the ladies, and then kind of plus Charlie, was that accurate?
I would say that's actually pretty accurate. We were all very close. I think especially in that dynamic, there's a lot more that could have like that went on, and you do see it of like there's a reason Charlie was even enticed to work with us in the first place. Is that we're checking in, we're talking. You see Charlie and Maria talking on a boat, you see us talking in the forest. Like that was a very not I'm not going to say strong alliance, just clearly it didn't pan out, but it was at least an alliance where like I think that everyone at some point wanted to make happen.
Hmm. So last week's tribal, what is that moment like when you realize they voted out Jem without you?
I I was in shock, but I was in awe, but not totally in shock, if that makes
Mm.
sense. Of we had been going around all day, and for something that should be an easy vote, if you're in a four-person alliance, it was a big scramble. So I kind of smelled something was maybe a little bit off here, like Ben's answering questions, not like a man who's going home that night, but it just didn't feel right. So when Jem left, I was like more of an oh crap, now I actually need to think, what am I doing? More than like I can't believe it, because ultimately those just were the two names out there.
So you hit the drop your buff merge-ish moment here before you're randomly put on this tribe that's not going to be immune. How are you feeling about your, conversations and getting to know the other castaways?
Well, obviously, my best and favorite conversation was Q. We just hit it off immediately. But no, apart from that, I mean, it really was, it's like speed dating almost, of like you have
Mhm.
12 people to meet, you got to make it happen. You don't really necessarily are able to come out and talk like, I want to work with you. Let's get them, because you don't know the tribes. You don't know who's going to draw what rock. So my goal was I wanted to talk to every single person on that beach. I did not want to talk to any Seagulls that entire day because I know them already.
Mhm.
And I wanted to be able to get in and make these connections and maybe have enough of a conversation where people can say, like, oh, like, I don't know how she plays, but she seems really trustworthy, or she seems like an earnest person, or someone I can have this personal connection with. So it was very chaotic, but I really did have some great conversations out there and some not great
Mhm.
conversations out there, but
So
it,
once you realize that, you might be in danger, what were the conversations you were having? Did you hear your name going around?
oh, oh, I heard my name going around through a megaphone. At
Mhm.
the end of the day, when you're at a merge situation like that, where seven people, set like a literal majority in the sense, are sitting at a table and they come back with a name, that's the name. And when they come back with that name, not only is it those seven, but you had three Nami and three Siga. So they come back with the Nami name, you add three. They come back with a Siga name, you automatically add three. So the second I heard that's my name, I'm like, got this shot in the dark right here. Like it's tough. It's tough to fight a tidal wave, especially with
Mhm.
people you don't really know and haven't built that give and take social collateral yet.
And so did you think the plan was you or Venus? Was that what you were led to believe?
I would say Venus was definitely the Nami most on the table, but it more sounded like they were deliberating between Venus was the Nami name thrown out, my name was the Siga name thrown out, and they were going with me. So
Mhm.
I knew that Venus, if anyone had any chance of turning people to say vote this person instead of Mo, it was gonna be Venus. But
Mhm.
even then, I'm like, it's it's tough to convince, again, like 8 people to not vote you. Eight
Yeah.
people you don't even know to not vote you. Like, even in the first vote out, you don't have to convince 8. You need to convince 3.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
what
you did a great effort at Tribal. We see you sort of laying it out there of like, look, I'm at the bottom of this tribe. Had you planned to save that for Tribal? Was that a last minute scramble? Was there any thinking that maybe if you'd said it earlier, it would have made a difference?
So I like you sit with this for a while, and I have thought I really do not think had I said that earlier, it would have made a difference because when you're on the bottom, it can go one of two ways. People can say, "Great, come on in, kid," or they can say, "Great, I now know who to get out without pissing other people off."
Mhm.
And you can just tell from that Q conversation, like that boy had a bee in his bonnet on me from the start. So I think the second that someone said my name on Siga, that was his indication of okay, I can get this woman out who I don't really know and I just don't vibe with. I can test Tim to see if he's willing to get her out. And he threw her name out. So clearly, this test will not kill our relationship. So it was a very, drawing that rock and drawing that rock draw was insane. And especially I'll add to with tribal. At that point, you hear your name, you're probably going home. I had no control over the conversation at that table, but the one thing I could control is what I can say at tribal. So
Mhm.
going in and knowing I'm 99% going home anyway, let's let her rip, baby.
How are your jumping skills these days?
Well, I'm a little bit out of practice. So I'm assuming I'm not making any like heroic like star poses, like jumping off any cliffs nowadays. But there,
You're not continuing to practice in your daily life? Hmm.
you know, no, but now that I've had enough people ask me about it, maybe I should. Maybe I should like add that into my workout routine with just like a little hop now and then.
Right. Well, I didn't realize how dangerous it was to mention Aubrey. I mean, there's a lot of us that love her. Now
Yes.
we know.
Yes. Now you know your new favorite player. Um, just I don't know, roll the dice and pick someone random from Gabon. That's your best bet.
Right, right. Well, how was this overall experience for you?
I think I had a very honestly a pretty good experience and unique in a way of being blessing and a curse, but being voted out by so many people. It's not like I really had one person like kind of cue, but even then it was more of a window of opportunity, like I just happened to be there thing of like I didn't get blindsided. I didn't have someone assaulting my character. I didn't have some one or two people like really saying like kind of crazy shit about me in confessionals. So I was kind of able to walk away, I think, with a little bit more head held high. I said what I needed to say. I got the opportunity to go out in my way, guns blazing. So
Mhm.
I think walking away, I had a pretty positive experience.
Good to hear. Well, it was lovely to watch you, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.